All right, lads. Sunday evening. Sunday evening time we do this again. That time of the week. That time of the week. And I know it's technically not boxing related, but I watched McGregor versus Portier this morning. I watched it this morning. And I just want to know what I want someone's thoughts, because a lot of guys who'd be in the chat, some of them ask me MMA questions from time to time. Lads, I am a proper casual when it comes to MMA. I'll admit that. I watch very few events, very few, but I did watch this one. I was just curious about it. But yeah, I want to know what your thoughts are. What does McGregor do from here? For those who are MMA, who are into MMA in the chat, who are into MMA, who know more about it than I do, what do you think McGregor's next move is? I know losses in MMA aren't like they are in boxing. You got some fighters who have like 10 losses and they're still like, I think Nate Diaz has loads of them. So what are they like in MMA for those MMA fans? What do you think McGregor's next move is? Big up to Neural. If I'm saying that wrong, apologies. Big up G-Man. I take it Usyk will step aside. To be honest with you, man, it seems like a win-win. Because judging by what Eddie Hearn said with regards to the WBO situation, basically, I think Usyk would be well advised to take the step aside money. I mean, think of it like this, bro. He steps aside and he's going to get a serious rake of money for stepping aside. Serious rake of money for stepping aside. So you get a couple of million for that. He can have a fight against Joe Joyce, potentially for the interim title. So he gets that. Then the winner of AJ Fury will likely vacate the WBO title. I just imagine they would if it's a trilogy, right? So the guy has got a nice payday for that. If he fights Joe Joyce, likelihood is it'd be with Frank Warren. They probably try and do that on BT Sport pay-per-view, so you get a nice little payday for that. And then he has his WBO title. So for me, literally just from like a logical point of view, from a business point of view, I'd be like, well, why not? Why don't I just take because I know you could like dig your heels in and get him to vacate. But like you get free money for the step aside. You have an interim fight, you get money for that. And then, potentially you could face the winner if it's one-sided, or you get your WBO title. So to me, it's like, it's not a bad offer. It's not bad. Like I think I'd be advising them well to take the step aside money, to be honest with you, man. That's just what I think. And you agree there. I mean, like, you got to look at it I just look at it from a logic and business point of view. I'm just thinking like, damn, why not take the step aside money? I mean, like, if you really want that title, you've already beat Joe Joyce in the amateurs. You kind of know what you're going to get with him. You get your free money, and like, this won't be like, I remember when Callum Smith was mandatory for Badu Jack, he got a couple of step aside paydays, and you'd imagine that would have been a nice couple of 100 grand or something like that, a couple of hundred. But this is going to be like I'm talking a couple of mil. Seriously, you'd be talking a couple of mil. So like, imagine doing that. Imagine just being told, right, wait for a world title shot, but get an interim fight. You get a couple of mil for that, for stepping aside. You probably get a couple of mil for the interim fight. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, man. Just from a business point of view, but maybe that's not the way he wants to do it. Maybe from a I don't know, a fighter's point of view, he'd rather do it a different way. I don't know, but man, businessly, I'd be like, yeah, take that money, take the free money. I'll big up the G-Man, hashtag G-Man's rocks, of course. You think McGregor's day has passed? Yeah. I reckon the drinking, the partying's kind of caught up to McGregor. He loves the whiskey, he loves the drinking. Realistically, like McGregor, he fought that cowboy guy last year. He won that. When was his last win after that? Like in any sport, he lost to, wait there. Because I'm nearly sure he's only had like one win in the last 5 years in any sport. When did he beat? He beat Eddie Alvarez the end of 2016. Right there a sec, lads. I'll just check this. So he beats Eddie Alvarez November 2016. And then it was Donald Carino in 2020. So, damn. He's only had like 2 wins in the last 5. Well, Nate Diaz as well, to be fair. But 2 wins in any real sport in the last 5, man, I think his day is well and truly done. His day is well and truly done, I think. And you see that Pacquiao fight is, you see, if McGregor had won and he'd beat Poirier in good fashion, then he would have got that Pacquiao fight definitely, right? He would have got the Pacquiao fight definitely. Apparently, some people were saying that it was already signed for. There was some sources in boxing saying that they'd heard from, this person, that fight was a done deal and signed for, and that the call out was going to happen in the ring after. Not actually announcement of the fight, but just the call out, if you know what I mean. Be like, yo, I want Pacquiao next. I reckon that's put a major spanner in the works for that. I can't see it, lads. I can't see them doing that. Or if they do, then it's not going to be like, he won't get anything as much as he wants. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen or what he's going to do next. Big up to Darren. Big up to Rob. What's up, G-Man? It's all good. It's all good. Nate Diaz trilogy would be a cool event. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad shout, actually. The Nate Diaz trilogy probably make most sense for McGregor at this stage now, anyway. Because Nate Diaz, what does he only fight? Has he even fought since? Oh, yeah, he lost to Masvidal, didn't he? So that'd make much sense, yeah. Big up to Tony every time. What's up to you, my man? What's up to you? I wish I had some betting tips to give you guys, actually, for that. I wish I'd have been like, yeah, put some money down on Poirier if I knew like what I was looking for. Because I've never really seen much of, I don't watch a lot of UFC or MMA. That's what I say, I'm a proper casual when it comes to it. Big up to Visual Takes. If you're working this evening, bro, I hope I'm getting you through it. McGregor got slapped up. Yeah, I watched it. I watched the full fight. He got pasted. And does anyone remember when he was meant to fight Floyd Mayweather, or when he was in the build to fight Floyd Mayweather, and people were talking about him having a granite chin, like having a Triple G level chin? I think and having Julian, it was like they were literally describing. Do you remember like the fans of McGregor? Because I believe you me, right? Where I was working at the time when McGregor Mayweather was happening, they were all McGregor fans. They were all casuals with boxing, and literally they were trying to describe the perfect fighter. They were saying like McGregor has, Julian Jackson level punching power. He's got a Triple G level chin. Floyd won't be. I was like, oh, believe you me, lads, that was torture. I remember I had one lad who came in and he slapped the bet down on the table. He was like, do you think that bet will come true? And I kid you not, right? He put 10 quid down, and this is what it was. I forget it was crazy odds. A McGregor versus Floyd, and McGregor to win every round and knock Floyd out in the 12th. And he was like, I reckon that could happen. He'll toy with him and then beat him in the 12th. I was like, mate. And it's like seriously straight-faced. I'm like, mate, come on now. Come on now. I don't have much time for Floyd, but come on now. Big up to Joe Stunner every time. Good evening. Hope everyone's fine and funky. We're all good here, Joe. We're all good. I was loving McGregor getting knocked out. I remember someone asked me in a live stream, oh Jesus, way back, I say way back, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months ago. They said to me, what is, like, they asked me basically words along the line of, I'm paraphrasing here, but they asked me words along the line of, what's McGregor's reputation like in Ireland? I'm not sure. They might have been American or they might have been British. I forget who it was. Maybe they're in the chat and they remember. I can't actually remember who it was. But they asked me what was McGregor's reputation in Ireland like. And I said that when McGregor was first coming around in like 2014, 2015, you were very hard pushed to find someone who didn't like him. Right now, I never had much time for McGregor, to be honest with you. His personality is just not my type. Like I spoke before about guys who I'd get along with and guys who I wouldn't. And McGregor's personality, his whole demeanor, it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't. It really isn't he's really not the type of person I'd want to be around. And I said back then, in 2014, 2015, you'd be hard pushed to find anyone who didn't like McGregor. Like, you had people who were just putting him up on pedestals. Now, the majority of people in Ireland don't really tend to like him. His fans, true and true, will always defend him. And some of them are very bizarre in how they'll defend. I would say bizarre, annoying, because McGregor will do something silly or something stupid, and they'll just laugh and be like, "Oh, he's a legend. He's this, that, and the other." But say like Khabib or Aldo or someone else doing the same thing, they'd be the first ones coming out saying, "Oh, he's scum, ban him, The hell with him. He's a this, that, and the other. And it's just like, just ain't that funny. McGregor does it, it's just a laugh. But if someone else does it, like I remember people were giving Khabib so much crap for trying to go for McGregor after their fight. And these were the people who were defending McGregor when he smashed up the bus. And it's just like, you really can't win with some of them. But they'd be kind of like the fans he'd have here in Ireland. At this stage now, his popularity is not really it's not what it used to be, to be honest with you. It's really not. He's really gone down in the popularity end anyway. So agree, it's a win-win. Yeah, I mean, if you're Alexander Usyk, you are taking that step aside money. You are taking that step aside money. I mean, I just can't see. I can't see the logic in going ahead and just being like snapping your feet down, because yeah, you can get that title, but like, think of it like this: you get that title, but you've lost out on free money, basically. So that's my thoughts on that. That's my thoughts on that. Just give me 2 secs. That's my thoughts on that. Where were we? George C. Big up G-Man. Thoughts on Leo versus Fulton? Honestly, man, I didn't actually watch that fight. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't done a catch-up on that yet. So big up to you and hashtag G-Man's Rocks, of course. But I haven't actually had a chance to have a proper look at that fight. So I will get around to looking at that now, probably this evening. And maybe on I'm thinking, put it like this, right? I'm thinking of giving you guys a schedule now on live streams, because I know myself that Thursdays are going to be live stream days, because I don't work on Thursdays anymore, not at least for the foreseeable future, because of you know what, we're all on 4-day weeks. So now your boy's off every Thursday. So I'm probably just going to stream on either Wednesday nights or Thursdays, probably Wednesdays actually, now that I think about it. But that's kind of how it's going for me now. So I'm giving you kind of a schedule on my next few streams. And if you could, while you're in here, lads, smash the like button. Just thought I'd get that in there while you're here. Mick says 5-2, Dustin printing money. Yeah, if anyone did put money on Dustin, because I wasn't looking at the odds. I'd say some people are in the green. They're in the green today after that. But I remember watching Dell's live stream last night, and I think he was saying he thought Poirier might do it. I'm just not. I don't know a lot of these UFC guys or MMA guys, so I don't comment really too much on it, because I just don't know enough about it. I know McGregor, I know, John Jones and DC guys like that, but I don't know enough about certain people to properly be like, yeah, this, that, and the other. So can never really complain with a multi-million step aside offer. I mean, like, if you're worried about waiting for your title shot, I mean, that will soften the wounds, won't it? I mean, be like, shit, I want my title shot now. Here's a couple of million. Do you know what? It's not too bad now. It kind of softens the blow, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It kind of softens it. Be like, yeah, I think I'm all right. That makes a lot of sense to me. To take the step aside, like, just from a business point of view, and I'd imagine that's what Usyk's team are looking at as well. Just from a business point of view, and look, I'm all for fighters getting their shots and all like that, but sometimes you got to think of the big picture. And a bit like when I said about Kell Brook in one of my videos about him, look at the big picture instead of snapping your heels and going full steam ahead. Just look and look at the big picture. Making a couple of mil, you'll get your title shot anyway, and you might even get elevated to full champion. And there's big paydays to come after that. You could fight Parker, that'd be a big payday as well. There's a lot of I think taking the step aside is a good idea, personally. Big up to Dean. McGregor is delusional to think he was the best. Of course he was going to lose when he's so inactive too. Really? Yeah, 2 fights in 4 years, actually. Yeah, I suppose. I'd actually think of that. Jesus. Or 4 years. I forgot about that. Yeah. In inactivity, not living the lifestyle, just everything, it's all going to catch up on you eventually. McGregor is only, like, I was only looking up McGregor today. He's 32. For some reason, I thought he was older than that. It seems like he's been around for years. 32 years old. And I was like, he's got to be older than that. I was looking, I was like, no, he is. He's only 32. I was like, he feels like he's been around forever, man. Seriously. Seems like he's been around for years. McGregor likes the bags a bit too much. Yeah, I'd say he'd just be absolutely whacking the bags out of it. We all know what that means, by the way. If you're from Dublin, you know what that means. The old Whitey. Yeah, I'd say he's absolutely whacking bags out of it, left, right, and centre. 2016 was his last win before the Cowboy fight. Yeah, Jesus, man. Jesus Christ. And to think he would have got... It's amazing when you think about it, like how fighters like Floyd and Manny, like, it's amazing how like guys in UFC can just be loud and abrasive, and they can get like massive paydays in boxing by having one fight from just being, you know, a bit of a name in another sport. And the attention they get, like, I mean, you could take some guy fresh out of the amateurs, he was an elite amateur, like a Rigondeaux or something, and it's just nothing. And man, it's just crazy. And McGregor could have got a Pacquiao fight. He would have got lit up by Pacquiao, no doubt. But just imagine, like, he would have got a payday for winning this fight. Then he would have got a massive payday for Pacquiao, and then he can always go back to UFC after. I mean, like, he would have been... it's just crazy to think. It's just crazy. Gerald McClellan, did you end up winning the prediction league? I heard it was the last week. Mark won the prediction league. We just got our final standings there. I'll admit, I actually completely forgot to... I completely forgot about this week's prediction league. So I didn't... I could have done better. I came, I think, 25th overall in the standings. Not bad for my first season. But I probably could have came in the top 15, maybe. But this is like my first season. So next season is where I really go at it. Yeah, Mark won the prediction league, and he won it, you know, by a bit. I think D came 4th. IBT was in the top 10. Nick was actually in the top 10 as well. I came 25th. I reckon if I completely forgot about this week's league, actually, to be fair. I reckon if I'd done it this week, I might have come in the top 20, definitely. So it's all about next season, lads. It's about next season. Whenever that starts, I'm going full steam ahead. This was like a trial. This was a trial. I got my feet kind of warm, got my hands wet. Now I know what I'm dealing with. Now I know I'm going for all the glory next season. And it is actually good fun. It's free, so there's no complaints. I did top the league, I think, like the first week or so. It was like the first or second week. For that week, I got like the most picks right. So I ended up getting, I think, like 50 quid. I topped the league. And I even remember saying it to Mark. Mark was like, there's still plenty of time left. And I was like, lad, honestly, I'm probably the most undeserving winner of that week. And this is not a knock on me, but like some of the fighters I'd never even heard of. And I was just like, if in doubt, UD. And I think the majority of them were UDs. So I ended up getting the like top of the league that week. And I was like, well, that was undeserved, but I'll take it. I'm sure I'm not the only one who made money. No, I'd say there's a lot of people, Joe, who made a good bit of money off that. A lot of people. Poirier much sharper. Poirier's been doing well. Like, I mean, like, I don't know a lot about UFC, but I know he lost to Khabib, but he's beat guys like Justin Gaethje. He beat Eddie Alvarez. He's beaten, like, these are guys I'd know. You know, I'd say I'm a casual, but I know these guys. So, you know, he didn't do too bad, you know. He didn't do too bad. He's been doing well for himself lately. So, you know, big up to him. And I think that was what Dale was talking about. They were saying just based on current form, Justin Poirier was like, you know, it was a very, very good pick. It was a very good shout just based on current form. I know McGregor beat him already, and you always have to take that into consideration, but times have changed. Manny versus Garcia makes me laugh. Yeah, by the way, they're talking about Ryan Garcia. There's been a bit of talk that Ryan Garcia may fight Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Jesus. Talk about, like, Oscar De La Hoya, like, would be reaching for that. They really want to get Ryan Garcia a world title and get him a big name. Don't see that fight happening. As for Mikey Garcia, I mean, has any of you guys seen Mikey Garcia lately? He's looking like a cruiserweight. And I wouldn't. It's only about a little under, just under a year since he last fought. Mikey Garcia is looking like a cruiserweight. He's looking big, lads. Like in real, and I don't mean cruiserweight in terms of he's put on a lot of muscle. I mean, he's looking round like the Kingpin. So Mikey Garcia, can't see that fight happening either. Big up to AAA every time. Shout out to you, man. Big up to you. We are here for you, man. Man, I'm all good, man. I'm in good form. Yeah, I'm glad you're all here, bro. I'm in good form. I've been happy as Larry. It's all G. It's all good. How the hat? I like the hat. I like the hat, but it's all good, bro. I've been in great form lately. Absolutely tremendous form. Joe Joyce is still dangerous for, but I favor Usyk in the fight. I think Usyk gas tank work rate could prevail against Joe Joyce. It's a great fight. It's a great fight because Joe Joyce is a juggernaut too. He can go to 12 rounds. I think that fight. Do you know what? Right, it's a bit like when I remember this. Right, it was a bit like when Joyce fought Dubois. When that fight was first announced, I was like, Dubois is going to win that fight. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, Joyce is going to win it. With Usyk, I'm more convinced with Usyk, but I'm just looking at Joyce and I'm just like, over 12 rounds. Because bear in mind, like, when Joe Joyce fought Usyk in the World Series of Boxing, that was still quite a green Joe Joyce. You know, we haven't been boxing that long. So he's improved a lot since then. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, over 12 rounds with Joe Joyce now, how might that go? So I'd still make Usyk firm favorite, definitely, but I think it's I think it's good. McGregor said the Pacquiao fight was done. So happy that won't happen now. Totally undeserved payday. Yeah, for both. Like, I mean, some people would say Pacquiao, he deserves to, have that easy fight, this, that, and the other. But come on, like, seriously, like, I mean, seriously, you got to drag No, man. So we'll see. We'll see who Pacquiao decides to fight now instead. But yeah, the minute that fight ended and I saw it, like, I just woke up this morning, checked the result. I was like, oh, I think I saw Johnny's video actually on it. And I was like, oh, that goes to Pacquiao fight. George Durham, good evening. Good evening. Conor is a made man. He should retire and enjoy his family. He changed the UFC and set standards for young lions coming through. He is a made man and he has his family. He has his money. Look, my way of looking at it is very similar to Ade. Get in, get rich, get out. And that's the way I look at it in most aspects. I mean, like, I do a lot of things. Like, I do YouTube, I work, I do this, that, and the other. All like just YouTube and just the general work and all. Like, do a bit of work on Talksport whenever they have me on, just to get in, get some money. So whenever I have my family, they have a good life. That's simple as. That's what it's about. Some people who are like, I want the cars, I want the house. That doesn't interest me. I'm not bothered about any of that. Just want me missus to be all right. She's not there now, by the way, but you know what I mean. Who are worse, McGregor or Wilder? Wilder, definitely. Wilder, and Wilder then again, definitely. 100%. The McGregor fanboys are delusional, but McGregor fanboys, McGregor fanboys are annoying. They're not as bad as the Wilder fanboys. The Wilder fanboys are bad. They really, really, really are. They are really something else, the Wilder fanboys. Seriously, bro. And the Wilder fanboys, they will just... oh, man, no. No one will top the Wilder fanboys. Look at some of the videos they've made. Look at some of the crap that's come out with the Wilder fan. No one's topping them, guys. McGregor fanboys, that's a good question. What made people turn against McGregor? Few things. There's been a few things. I think people loved his cockiness, his brashness at the start. But then, after a while, I think that kind of novelty kind of wore off on people. I think some of the allegations about him, they are just allegations, has left a bad taste in people's mouth. But to be fair, I think it is genuinely what I think it is that people, I'm not talking about everyone, not a hope, right? Not a hope. I'm not talking about everyone, right? But there are a lot of people who love someone who's on top. And the minute they fall from grace, they're just like, I don't like that person anymore. I suspect that's what happened with, like, look at AJ when he lost. And I actually think I done a video and I showed some comments in the video who are just people were like, he lost. Oh, I'm done with boxing now. That's like, why? Because he lost. It's like, I'm not a fan of boxing now that AJ lost. Had Portier to knock out McGregor in the second, 22-1. Jesus, that's a nice little payday. That's a nice little payday. He lost a lot of fans when he punched the old guy in the pub. I remember that. He had Luke Keeler calling him out then. I remember that, actually. But yeah, Wilder fanboys are something else. I mean, Wilder fanboys, like, Wilder fans are just so goddamn delusional. So just, oh my God. Like, I mean, the stuff that some of them come out with is just insanity. Like, it really is. And then they'll come on your channel and be like, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, just watch this as facts. And whenever you get them in like a live chat or something like that, it's just, oh my God. No, the Wilder fanboys are like, yeah, no. Nah, man. Yeah, I think they're the most delusional. Yeah, no one will touch the Wilder fanboy, seriously. And I hope no one ever does, because God knows if another group of fans came along and you threw the Wilder fanboys, I mean, God knows what that fighter must be like. McGregor lost. He did. He did indeed. You had 5-1 Portier KO. Yeah, I say a lot of people are up a good bit from Portier win. I'm an MMA casual, but never understood why McGregor was so highly rated. The idea of him having a chance against Mayweather and Pacquiao was pure fantasy. He's looking washed up in his own sport. The UFC stuff, yeah, I'm like that as well. I'm a pure casual, Joe. I'm a pure casual. I've literally, when I look at it, I'm just like, you could be telling me anything and I'll just go along with it because I don't know enough about it. But I never understood the appeal. And like, people used to say to me, like, you know, oh gee, you know, you remember he's won like titles in like Irish amateurs, like he's won an All Ireland. I'm like, mate, I've seen loads of fighters who've won All Ireland titles and have gone pro, and they've done nothing, and they've looked terrible as pros. I've seen some of them who have like they've not medaled, but they fought like with Ireland, representing them for the European Championships, and they've never even won. Like, they wouldn't even be area level as, like, you know, in terms of pros. That there's a few fighters I've thought about, like, and this was 2017. There's a few fighters who I used to train in one of their amateur gyms, and the guy wasn't even area level. Like, if you put him in like a British boxing, he'd be area level. So that's why I was always saying, don't take like what they do and like the amateurs and this, that, and the other, saying they won an Ireland title as like gospel. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, you know. So that was why I think it was the fact they were just trying to sell it. I think some people were just, they genuinely believed that McGregor would beat Mayweather. They just didn't know much better, you know. Where am I in the chat? I wonder if that chat updating, because I know in like one of my, like, I think it was Adele's or someone like that, or someone else's, the chat was just like not updating at all. For like every like 5 minutes it would update, so people had to keep like refreshing it. And I know it was happening for Mark earlier, so let me know if the chat's not updating or anything like that, just in case, because I don't want that happening, just to be on the safe side. I don't want the chat like freezing or anything like that, because that's one thing I was worried about. I was worried about that chat freezing. I hope it doesn't. Should be fine anyway. Dorsey said, super UFC casual, still enjoying tuning in with the boxing tin on the ground at the minute. Front the gas tank impressed me. I have to watch it, bro. I have to go and have a watch. Like, I knew it was on, but I didn't give it much pass last night, to be honest. But I'll definitely give it a watch later on this evening. The prediction league was a lot of fun. You done 14th. Mark for the win. Yeah, man. Big Upton rival. I mean, he's the guy who gives me a lot of tips for bets. And I must take heed. I take heed of some of them. And then some I'm just like, nah, I won't. He was the guy who gave me the AJ tip, and I very closely came through with that. So I need to follow Mark's advice on his tips for fights now, because yeah, he's topped that league. I mean, like, fair play. Diaz trilogy, only pay left in UFC. Make the fight happen. I mean, I think I'd watch it. In truth, Usyk never earned the right to challenge a unified champion, irrespective of his skill. Evander Holyfield had 6 fights before fighting Douglas. Hashtag the G-Mans. Rocks big up, brah. Yeah, I know, but the bear in mind, that was the night. The WBO, they loved it. They done it to Canelo a few times. Remember they made him, I think they made him manager for Billy Joe at one stage at middleweight when he moved up. They always do that. He wanted McGregor to win so badly. Loads of people did, man. Look, I don't make predictions on UFC, man. I had no idea. Yeah, Poirier has beaten nearly everyone at 155 besides Khabib. Yeah, Khabib is something else, bro. Khabib is like, yeah, he is a record. He was. I don't think he's. With Khabib, I get the impression that he won't go back to UFC or fighting in general. I get that impression with Khabib. I think he's happy. His day has been and gone. I think, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean like when he says he's going, definitely. I was waiting for the old guy to get in the ring and give McGregor some kicks while he was down slightly. It's not the meme that was going around where it's the old guy. I think was he watching a football game or something, and he sat like that or something like that, and they were doing like McGregor like had him in like the choke or something like that. That was gas. Did any of you see that meme? It was fucking hilarious. Some old guy with like I think he's at a football match. He's got like a mask and gloves on, and he's literally just sat like that with the gloves and the mask on, and they like. I was actually seeing it on Twitter. It was funny as shit. Mikey El Chunko. Oh, he is. Yeah, like even Zabel says it there. Like Mikey looked about 14 stone, man. He looks huge. He looks massive. I'll actually wait there. I'll see if I can get any maybe his Instagram or something. I'll do a screen share and I'll see if I can find any of them because he looked massive. Yeah, Mikey Garcia Instagram. Let's see if I can find any because if any of you guys haven't seen it, he is looking round as anything. Wait there a sec. I'll see if I can bring it up on screen. There's no way this guy's fighting this. Well, he won't be fighting anytime soon. I'll tell you that, lads. No way. No way. The guy is looking massive. You know, one thing always surprised me about some fighters is like how they put the weight on so quick. Like you see certain fighters, they get out of the ring, right? And they say they have a fight, right? And then they're out of the ring for like 6-8 months or something like that. It's like, how did you put on the weight so quick? Yeah, there we go. Right there a sec, lads. Screen share. Your entire window, yeah. Look at that. He is looking big. I know, like there you could say, but like look, you could see like how big the kind of head is. See around there, he's looking there. I'd say there's no definition whatsoever. So yeah, big. So he won't be fighting anytime soon, I don't reckon. I don't think anyway. Mikey started as a featherweight. He went on a diet so he could still fight at 135, 140 if he wants to be comfortable. I think 140 is the best division for Mikey Garcia. You know, when he went up to 147 to fight Spence, okay, he gave it a go. But the fact he's still sticking around there, and he talked about 154 once, didn't he? Was it Koho or somebody said he'd fight at 154? Jeez, I forget who it was. I think it was Koho or someone like that. He said he'd fight on 154. Might have been Koho, I'm not sure. But he said he'd fight at 154. I mean, no. Boxing fam thinks, yes, G-Man, big up yourself. So, man, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hit the like button, hashtag G-Man's rocks. Yeah, big up. 42 in the chat. If you could, lads, it really help. It does help. Get the channel recommended more. It does help. That's why, like, I always wondered why people used to say that because it was like, that's such a cliche, but it really genuinely does help. You don't like Johnny Boy no more? Johnny Boy is not everyone's cup of tea. I don't always get into his streams, but when I do, I have a listen. I was listening to his video this morning when I seen it. It was the first thing I saw when I popped up. But now, big up to Johnny Boy. Big up to Johnny Boy. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't mind. I like listening to Johnny Boy. The odd time. While the fanboys are dangerously stupid, McGregor fanboys are just as stupid. It depends on them. Like, I mean, like look at Brandon here. He says, I'm a McGregor fan, so does that make me bad? Not necessarily. The McGregor fans I've seen, like online, when I used to use Facebook and Instagram and things like that, the McGregor fanboys I'd seen were just scum. Simple as, like, there was fans who used to use, and they'd write it in their status, they'd be using the N-word about like this fight or that fight, or they'd be saying all kinds of stuff, and Then you go and look at like their Instagram or Twitter page, and they're bragging about, oh yeah, I assaulted this guy last night. I'm just like, wow. And these are like the proper, like, you know, I'll follow McGregor to the ends of the earth. And it's just like, what? It's like, man. So that's some of the McGregor fanboys I've seen. The Wilder fanboys are just dangerously stupid. They really are. I mean, they really just, you know, oh, he cheated against Fury. You know, I have the facts. Okay, where are they? Oh, they're coming. Okay. 3 months later, where's the facts? He cheated again. They're coming. They're coming. Still waiting. No, they're coming. I have the facts. It's just like, come on now. Come on now. They're just so. The Boxing Voice YouTube channel is Wilder's #1 fanboy. I would have thought 78 is Wilder, the #1 fanboy, to be honest with you. I mean, he's always doing Wilder videos. I used to watch his videos back in the day. Back 5 years ago. I used to watch a good few of his videos back in the day. The Boxing Voice I never really watched, to be honest with you. The first channel I went to when he lost, it was the first time they were online jerking over his performance. Jeez. I remember when Wilder won against Luis Ortiz, like the fanboy channels were absolutely losing their mind. They were like crazy when he beat Ortiz. I was like, it's a good win, but hang on now. McGregor's brash personality was missing in this fight. Is that because he knew he was washed or maybe chilled? Now he's a little older and more wedged. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm sure he didn't know. I don't think any fighter goes in there knowing that they're washed. So I don't think that. I'm definitely not going to say that about McGregor, that he was washed or anything like that. In terms of him maybe being a bit more chill because he's older, possibly. You know, like, believe you me, there are people I knew. Now, look, McGregor's older than me. He's a good couple of years older than me. But there are people I knew, you know, when they were younger, who I was literally like, if they hit 25, they'll be doing well because the way they were going. And not only did they hit it, they ended up being as normal as you could be. Sometimes people just develop quicker. They develop at different rates. So I think it's more, I think possibly the second. I don't think McGregor, no, I wouldn't say washed. No. He should fight Jake Paul next. Now, that is a guy I don't like. That Jake Paul guy is an idiot. That guy is just, oh my God. Now, that's a guy I've no time for. Jake Paul. I mean, fuck me. The amount of crap that guy, like, that guy, oh, Jesus Christ. Now, that is a guy I've no time for at all. Jake Paul. What an idiot. Khabib. Halashander with ease are handled, or I don't know why you remember Khabib. Yeah, Khabib was a G at 154 or 155. A lot of talk about Manny fighting Ryan Garcia next. Don't know what weight. Surely Manny has to vacate. Then Spence and Crawford will be pissed. Yeah, they will, because Manny Pacquiao is still a name, and it's still a big fight. It'll still be a pay-per-view fight against either of them. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Manny Pacquiao, he's been champion for nearly 2 years. He's not defended it. He was looking to fight McGregor. I reckon that Pacquiao, he probably should just vacate, give that to someone else. I mean, like, if he's going to fight Ryan Garcia, will they really bring him up to, maybe they're that confident in him, they will. They'll bring him up to 150 or 147 pounds. But no, I don't think that's just vacate. Just vacate. Because he's been holding on to that WBA and no fights, no unification. Like, did they even have a mandatory in place for that? Or are they just going to get Ugas to, take care of the mandatories? Mikey Garcia got that dad body. Yeah. I can't. It always amazes me, like, when I see fighters who gain weight. Like, do you ever see it like that, where like certain fight, like, look at Kell Brook and all, like, where like they're in like such good nick, and then like within like 4 months they're like out to there. It's like, what did they do? Or like Dylan White is another one. It's like, what do you actually do with your diet? Dave Allen, another one. I'm looking at it. I'm just like, what like do you be eating and doing to get like? I can understand you gaining weight on your time off. I get that, but to gain that much weight that fast, like what actually do you be physically doing to do that? I don't want to. I just can't make heads or tails of it. And how you do it so quick, it's crazy. The dude bit on the pies, yeah, man. Off season, Duran was the same. Yeah, it's crazy with some of them. I just don't know how they do it, and I don't know how they can let themselves do it. I mean, like I don't know. Like I always try and keep myself in as good a shape as I can. Definitely, definitely. That's just me. I always try and keep it as good a shape like I can, but that's crazy. There was a meme with Bernie Sanders in his mitts. Yeah. I remember that. That Bernie is that the guy who was like thing with the mitt? That was funny as shit, man. I seen Ebony Bridges was sharing those. Mikey certainly committed to bulking the 147. Yep. That or Garcia Bat fanboys just fired with age. He doubled it. Yeah, I think that maybe he's done it so he can definitely be like, yeah, I can't make any other weight than 150 or 147. But yeah, I don't understand like how you could get it. It's the way to do it so quick, man. I just don't understand how they can do it, man. Hey, big up to Gary. AG, man, don't know much about Dylan Moran, but I would imagine he would still spark Jake Paul. Hashtag, oh yeah. Dylan Moran's a welterweight, I think. Right? I've seen Dylan Moran fight a few times. I've seen him get knocked out though, badly. By a guy who didn't have a great record in America about a year or 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. I've seen Dylan Moran fight before. He's all right. I think he's from Waterford. No, he's not too bad, but like even though he's a welterweight, I think he's a welterweight anyway. It might be light welter. He'd still beat the shit out of Jake Paul. Definitely. I mean, Jake Paul. I mean, fuck. I never heard of the guy until like last year, and then I was like, this guy, fuck, man. He's one of them. I'll read that and say he's one of those little mouthpieces who just talks a load of absolute, you know what. To be fair to Usyk, it's WBO's rule if a fighter becomes under. Yeah. It's not even a rule. Like they done it for Canelo. Like when Canelo won the WBO at like 154, he only had that title. They remember they named the mandatory Billy Joe. So they just love naming fighters mandatory. That's all they seem to do. A lot of fighters walk around 30, 40 pounds above their fight weight, most rehydrate. Yeah, I know they do, but Jesus, I mean, you know when they're 30, 40 pounds above fight weight, but they're in shape. But there's a difference between like being like a little overweight and in shape than to just being like Mikey Garcia, the way he's looking, where he's just looking like Mr. Blobby. You know, like the proper like this is what 40 years old looks like, lads. Shout out to Blue Collar Sports TV. Big up to Dell. Salute G man. Big up to you, man. Did you bet on Portier? Because I remember you were live last night. I think you were saying that you were picking McGregor for Portier. Look good. If you put any bets on him, let us know. I didn't, but yeah, what can you do? That's one thing I'm gonna start doing is doing a few more bets on fights because I get Mark to give me some tips because there's definitely money to be made there. Definitely. Have I ever watched the LDBDC Slayer? Yeah, I watched him a few times. What's his? Cotto called him out for his farewell fight, but Mikey passed. Saddam Ali took it. Saddam Ali, man, that really showed how far Cotto was, how far past it he was. Well, Saddam Ali went in there with Munguia next fight, and he got absolutely blown out of the water. He got absolutely blown out of the water. McGregor was trying to be less controversial because he had such bad media coverage with the lawsuit. Really? Because, there was very little about McGregor, to be fair, in the build-up to this fight. If you think about it, because normally with McGregor, it's like, you know what it's like. It's like, this, that, and the other, loud, abrasive. We know what McGregor is like. We know the kind of character he is. But, there seems to be precious little with this. I kind of thought maybe it's just that he's older, because like what someone said earlier, I was like, maybe he's just older. Maybe just older, wiser, and he's just like, I've had enough of this. But nah, we'll have to wait and see what he does next, man. It's a long road back. It's a long road back. Manny stripped of WBA. Ugas elevated, unifies with Spence. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I don't know. That's Manny Pacquiao's retirement party gone up in flames. Because I'm telling you now, that would have. They might not have announced the fight, but they would have definitely been a call out if he'd won. A major call out. They might not have announced it, but that is what that is. I'm sure Pacquiao is going to be like Holyfield when Holyfield saw Tyson get knocked out by Douglas. Could someone explain to me why there are so many different WBC belts flying around? Oh, bro. Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. It's for sanctioning fees. I mean, you've got Haney, who was WBC champion. You've got Garcia, who was interim champion, and then you have Lopez, who was franchise champion. But he's looked on as undisputed, despite the fact that Haney is essentially the WBC champ. It's just ridiculous. And basically, if they wanted to be proper and take them away, then you've got one, and that's Lopez. But the WBC are just, I mean, like, they all have absolutely ridiculous titles, if you think about it. I mean, don't the IBF have a west, a northeast, or north south, or something like that? They've got like a north or east IBF title, like, which is like a fucking cricket title. They have a intercontinental. They've Europe. It's just ridiculous. They just make shit up and they'd be like, yeah, put a belt on that and it'll give you a ranking. Don't forget Tyson and Jones. Oh yeah, they did get one. Jesus Christ, man. Absolutely pathetic. It's pathetic. They're the North Pole title. There's definitely an IBF North. I remember them having it. They were like, it's in like a Northeast title or something like that. It's something crazy. Dean Garrett said rapid weight gain is due to eating disorders coming from MMA fighters. I'd say that it probably is. I reckon a lot of these guys, it's because they're starved of like what they want, that when they do have the chance to eat, they just go crazy. They go ham. I reckon that's what a lot of it is. That they just go like crazy. Because the amount of fighters I've seen, I'll be one sec, man. Amount of fighters I've seen right over the years, you've said that like literally once they make weight, it's just they don't eat anything but shit for like weeks after. And I mean, like, yeah, I like pizza as much as the next guy, but I don't eat it all the time. Tyson Fury is a lucky man. Very lucky man. Much respect. He reversed that weight gain. He was looking terrible. He was looking awful. Like, do we remember how bad it actually was? That he, like, that looked unnecessary. That looked unnatural. That belly. I know some people are overweight, but that looked horrific. How overweight he was. The fact he's able to come back and keep it off as well, because remember before, like, if Tyson Fury was out of the ring, even if there was nothing going on, like even when he was with Peter, he would gain weight, like really, like he'd be just like, I'm half a stone heavier, I'm 2 stone heavier, just in general, like. So the fact he's kept it off, I mean, fair play to him. Speaking of someone who can get in shape quite quickly and look well then turn into a beach ball next. It just comes down to food. I'm an absolute pig. I once ate 3 tomahawk steaks back to back. Jeez, man. You see, like, I'm someone, if I do gain a bit of weight, I can get it off quite quick as well. But I've never had much of an appetite. I just will go through phases where the diet's a bit off, where I'm eating not enough. And when I am eating, it's just shit. So that doesn't help with the weight gain. But when I eat right, I make my own food most of the time. That's where I go wrong, is that I just don't buy enough food to cook. So I end up just getting something instead. But that's what I normally always do. I just buy my own and then just make it. Just buy chicken and pastas and stuff like that and just make them. With the McGregor nonsense out of the way, I hope Pacquiao fights Mikey or Josh. Josh Taylor. Jesus. Josh Taylor against Manny Pacquiao. That'd be an interesting one, actually. Josh Taylor versus Pacquiao. Josh Taylor. I couldn't see him doing it, though. No way. I couldn't see him doing Josh Taylor versus Pacquiao. I couldn't see it. But Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. I think he's even said that that's pretty much a done deal. And I really want to see that fight. I think that fight's going to be good. I make Josh Taylor favorite. I think he's going to clean up and be undisputed. But I think that fight, Josh Taylor versus Ramirez, that's a good fight, man. Ramirez is a very good fighter. Like, when he is on it, believe me, Ramirez is useful. I make Josh Taylor favorite, but I don't think it's going to be a foregone conclusion. Definitely not for Josh Taylor. I think when Ramirez is on it, he is dangerous. He is dangerous. But that's a fight I really want to see. There are certain like high level fights where I'm just like, this is going to be the way it's going to be. And I'm so confident in my predictions. With Taylor, I'm confident picking him, but Ramirez is game. He's lively. Is Crawford still considered the boogeyman? I think he's ducking. I don't think he is, bro. I think it's just the fact that his promotional issue is just all over the shop. It seems like him and Bob Arum are at odds. It seems like PBC don't want to do business with others who aren't PBC. Unless, like, I'm sure PBC would do business with someone like Canelo or someone like that. If, because, he's such a cash cow. It's just like, well, why not? But Crawford doesn't really bring anything to the table. Like, I mean, like that in terms of, massive name or anything like that. So I think that's an issue there. But in terms of, like, Crawford, I've no doubt would take the Errol Spence fight in a heartbeat. But I'd say he's not been offered it. I'd say the promotional issue is kind of, it's there. Like, we've heard Bob Arum say, like, he could build so many houses with the amount of money he lost on Crawford. I mean, that kind of says it all. Yeah, exactly. Like Darren is there. Crawford isn't ducking. He wants the Spence fight. I believe he does. And I really want to see that fight. But as it stands now, I mean, until the promotional issue is sorted out, we ain't seeing that. And who else can they recycle for Terence Crawford at this stage? Like, I mean, seriously, like, who else can they recycle at Bob Arum? Like, all the action with 147 and even 154, not saying he'd go up to 154, is a PBC. And if Crawford is a PBC fight, that happens. You see, Spence has the WBC, he has the IBF. If they lose those two titles, God knows what Pacquiao is going to do next. And, we're kind of in a bit of a kind of a scenario there. Halim. I think I've been saying that name wrong at the start. It's Halim. Good evening. Hashtag G-Man's Rock stuck in the snow. Snow was pretty much melted in Dublin, mate. Snow has been and gone. Snow was out this morning. Snow has been and gone. I don't mind it. I like it when it snows in here. I'm stuck at home, though. That's the only thing. But I don't mind it when it snows, bro. I don't mind it when it snows. But big up to you, man. I hope all is going well with you. I hope you're doing well, bro. Yeah, that miraculous white powder was shoveling down, didn't appetite. Yeah. Loves the bags. Or he did anyway. Spence wants more money. He wants like 70-30, I think. That's what they said Spence wants. 70-30 or something like that. And like that's about right. I think that's fair. 60-40 to me is fair. Spence has more titles. He's the more well-known of the two. I think that is fair. I think 60-40, I wouldn't have any complaints personally with that. I think that is pretty much good to go. I think that's pretty much spot on with the 70-30. So, not the 70, the 70-30, 60-40. I was reading something there, so I was kind of like, huh? And no, definitely 60-40 in Spence. I don't see any issue with that, man. If they want 50-50, I don't see it. Good to know all is good, bro. Good to know all is good. Good to know all is good. You have any news for us, bro? Any MTK news or any fighters news? Love getting the source. Good getting the source. Love seeing, and bigging up the coach Asgar as well, or as there. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but follow him on Twitter to see all the footage of him with the guys he has on the pads. Big up to him. Do you know if Broner will make a comeback, become world champion? I've no idea. With Broner, there's a lot going on up there. There's a lot going on up there, but mate, with Ian, there's a lot going on with AB. And I don't even want to do a WTF video on him yet because I want to know what his next move is, because I reckon there's a lot going on in Broner's life at the minute. He has talent, though. There is talent there with AB. There definitely is. But Jesus, I don't know, man. Thinking about it, that I can see. Oh, I thought you were saying a kendo. I thought you were talking about a kendo or someone like that. It's the way you spelled that. Pacquiao with no M or no P. Pacquiao fighting Amir Khan in the Middle East, the retirement cash out of the two of them. Yeah. No, that actually makes good sense, actually, man. It does when I think about it. It does make a lot of sense. Because that'd be huge in the Middle East. They've been talking about that fight for, oh man, years and years and years and years and years. Years, like. I reckon they will. I reckon maybe that he will do that. I reckon he will do that, I reckon. Do you know that? Because Pacquiao at this stage, you'd still favour him over Amir Khan. I mean, that chin is so questionable. And I'm sure that Amir Khan would rather take an L against Pacquiao than he would against Kell Brook. His ego could probably handle the Pacquiao loss. But a Kell Brook loss, could Amir Khan's ego handle that? Could Amir Khan's ego handle a Kell Brook loss? And look what Judge Durham says. Pacquiao, Brook versus Khan for the washed up belt. Do you know what, right? When you have two fighters near the end of their careers who are both looking fairly over the hill, genuinely, like, you do tend to have actually quite good fights because they're both at a similar level. And they both have one last roll of the dice. So, I reckon maybe, but I reckon chances are we'd see if that fight was there, Amir Khan would take that. So Rumvasai fighting soon. I see that he's fighting the same day as Estrada versus Chocolatito. I mean, the winner of that is mandatory, or the winner of if Rumvasai wins, he's mandatory for the winner of Estrada Chocolatito. Him against Estrada has always been good, but it's always been close. Him against Rumvasai, I mean, I reckon the demons might be still there. Demons might be still there. How's it going, G-Man? Thought this was a weekly thing. It is a weekly thing, bro. We do live streams every Sunday and then either Wednesday or Thursday. Unless there's absolutely flipping zilch to talk about, we do live streams every Sunday and then on a Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. Always a weekly thing, bro. Always a weekly thing. Once saw Crawford was relatively unknown against Ricky and saw him punch a heavy back for 12 rounds, so Ricky was still very useful. Yeah, Ricky Burns actually done quite well against Crawford if you think about it. It was actually done quite well. He did look quite well against Ricky Burns. But Ricky Burns looked quite well against Crawford. Looking back in hindsight, I mean, that was Ricky Burns in his prime when his peak was useful. Like, he wasn't that bad, you know. Look at him now. Like, I mean, he lost to Lee Selby in his last fight. I mean, I don't think he's fought since then. Got a feeling Crawford or Pacquiao still has a few money fights in him. Just keep going and still a name. Why do I think he will fight Amir Khan? He probably will, actually. I think if that fight's offered to either of them, I think they're taking, especially in the Middle East. In the Middle East, they'll definitely take that. Contract started between AJ Fury. I've seen that. I've seen that, bro. I've seen that reported. No, I've seen that reported. Seen that reported. If you've not done an AB, I haven't, then you defo have more material already. I'm sure that you defo should have more material than enough. Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to do my next one on. They're monthly. I do them monthly. So I haven't even thought about my next one yet. I'll do probably one. I'll start thinking of it more. So maybe this week or next week and start researching. As I do it monthly, and I don't really have any kind of set time, but when I do it, I just do them whenever. But I do them every month. I love doing that. Kovalev one was so much fun to do. I think that was like one of my better ones. I love doing that one. That Kovalev one was brilliant, if I do say so. Not to sound cocky, but if I do say so. People turned against McGregor because he fell out with Khabib's team. McGregor brought politics and religion into it, and Khabib's wife as well. Yeah, you don't do that. I think that's one of the reasons. But I genuinely think as well that with McGregor, it was just the fact that he had a fall from grace. Like that, let's say fall from grace. The fact that he lost. A lot of people are glory seekers. They just want to be around someone when they're winning. Not facts, not supposed. Say that on here, but only for hashtag. Yeah, big up the G-man. I must have been ignoring all other news sources because I just don't want to be disappointed. I reckon we're seeing AJ Fury this year. I do. I'm starting to have that feeling now. Any more word on Galahad or any more word from Galahad and Heyman Man got to do what's best for him. But yeah, I see UK fighter signing with Al Heyman to get unification and get a unification fight. Never mind 3 5 year. Well, I said it in my live stream the other night, bro. When just think about it, like just from history, right? Just think about this from history, right? When have you ever seen a fighter from the UK go over to Al Heyman PBC and really have success? You know, Lee Selby ended up going back to Eddie Hearn. Frampton ended up signing with Frank Warren and Bob Arum. James DeGale ended up going his own way. There was others as well, wasn't there? They don't tend to. The UK fighters definitely don't tend to have the most success with Al Heyman. Definitely. Yeah, Bayabuchi was something else. He was something else in his day. He was something else in his day. You think Conor Benn could beat Amir Khan right about now? I don't know, man. Ben's improved a lot for me. Like, I remember when Ben first came about on the scene. I remember looking at him thinking, nope, the kid's going nowhere. And I meant that in the nicest possible way. But I was like, the kid's going nowhere. That's why when he first came out, I was like, kid is going nowhere. Literally. He looked very raw, he just didn't look good at all. But he's improved a lot over the years. You know, because this is a guy who went life and death over 6 rounds with, what's the guy's name? Paynow. I was dropped twice in that fight. To go from that, and he got bashed up. Look at his eyes after that fight. To go from that to, you know, fighting that Formula guy and looking quite good. I mean, that's impressive. It shows that he's learned from his past mistakes, which I always say is important for fighters, important for everyone to learn from your mistakes. He's improved. Like him against Kelly. I don't think Kelly's getting past Avanesian, lads, by the way. Just thought I'd point that out. I don't think he's beaten Avanesian. Just my opinion, but I can't see it. I don't think he's beaten David Avanesian. Just, if you want a prediction, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I think that Ben, like you say, Ben with KO Khan. I would no. I think Amir Khan. I think Ben's still a bit too raw, but he's improving. What's the latest with Don King's card? It's supposed to be on for still going ahead. But in terms of who's fighting who, I have literally look, lads, the fight we all want. Lovejoy versus Deverne. That's not happening. Lovejoy is deciding, I want to go back to Mexico and fight, you know, God knows who. Stavern is fighting TBA. I mean, how do you get better than the G, the one shot himself, Lovejoy? How do you get better from that? Yeah. So Shumanov is still listed. The Char is still listed. Apparently it's the I'd be God knows. God only knows what's happening with that fight. Apparently it's still on though, but like God only knows. Assuming the Fury fight doesn't happen, you think Wilder will fight this year? Yeah, I do. I reckon they'll try. I reckon he'll want to get out. I reckon they'll try and get him out. They probably will do with Charles Martin or someone like that and put him in there against him, get a win, and maybe Kalnaki, Hellenius winner if he's not fighting Fury. In fact, we're watching Billy Joe and training, looking in good shape. I'm liking that. I'm liking the fact that I know he's staying in the gym. Makes me feel this Canelo fight is going to be a lot more competitive. Because if you saw Billy Joe like on a holiday or someone like that, you'd be just thinking, oh no. Whereas the fact he's staying, and I've seen him as well on Instagram, like training with Mark Tibbs and all. So the fact he's doing that, it gives me a bit of, you know, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, yes, this could be good. You know, now I really like, I'm still going for Canelo, but I'm definitely more happy that Billy Joe was staying in shape and he's staying ready. So this fight could be good. This fight could be interesting. I'll still make Canelo favorite, but this could be interesting. Think Jamal Charlo versus Canelo will be at 168 or a catch weight, like 3-fight deal. No, if they're fighting, that's at 168, I reckon. They ain't changing up on that. That's at 168, definitely. 100% that's at 168. I think that's a great fight. Great fight. Given the fact Eubank signed with Sauerland, what fights could he realistically land? There's loads of fights, man. I mean, like he works with Eddie Hearn, and the Sauerlands have done that in the past, so I wouldn't rule out seeing him on some of these matchroom shows. You know, Sauerlands don't have the stable they used to. I know a lot of their guys have retired or moved on. Like Abraham's retired, Sturm, God knows what's happening with him. A lot of them have gone, their separate ways, are retired. But they, as I said, they've worked with guys like Eddie Hearn and stuff like that. So, you know, should be, it's a good move. I was a bit kind of wary about it at first, and I was like, nah, it should be all right. I think it'd be an okay move in the end. But Eubanks acknowledged himself that he's not got all that much time left. Like, he's in his 30s now, isn't he? That athleticism is going to go. It is going to wane. We just need to see what he can do. Predictions for Conor Ben versus Vargas. Is it a 10 rounder or is it a 12 rounder, Joe? Because I actually can't remember. Is it a 10 or 12 rounder? Either way, my prediction for that will be Vargas is a step up. Vargas is experienced. He's tricky. But I've been impressed with Conor Ben. I think he'll win, but I don't think he'll look as impressive as he did against Formella. I think that we will see maybe a slightly tougher fight, but I expect Conor Ben to win on points. Over 10. I'm not sure. Is it 10 or 12 rounds? Oh, it's a 10 rounder. I see your comment down there. It's a 10 rounder. Okay, if it's a 10 rounder, then definitely Ben on points. Definitely Conor Ben on points. I wonder why they didn't put it as a 12 rounder, actually. Why didn't they put it as a 12 rounder? Probably has nothing. What do you think, Billy Joe? What do you think Billy Joe was asking for Canelo fight? How much has COVID affected his purse? As Helene says there, it's affected a lot of boxers. Yeah, I reckon that if he was going to get 8 million pre-COVID, maybe 4.5, 5, maybe. He's not going to get the same payday. And you see, you have to take that into consideration for a lot of things, you know? And you see, I think, you know, one thing as well that I think boxing, it wasn't just the restrictions, but what kind of kept boxing from taking off like UFC. I think a lot of fighters really didn't want to be fighting unless they were getting their normal rates. But I think that you got to understand that the economy has taken an absolute shellacking over the last year, and it's going to be like that for years to come. Like, it is not going to be easy pickings for boxers or anyone really for the next few years. We're in the 1920s, it was the roaring 20s. In the 2020s, it's the polar opposite. It literally is. It's the polar opposite. The only difference is we still have, it's like prohibition, that we're meeting up, you know, on the knock on the door 3 times you want to meet your friend for a drink. That was happening in America in the 20s, the 1920s. It's happening in the 2020s too. It's amazing. That's not good for the 30s, because the 30s was the Great Depression. Billy Joe ain't no joke. The kid can dismantle your whole game plan. True that. Don't rate Josh Kelly. He looked really bad in his last 3 fights. I've never really rated Josh Kelly too highly, to be fair. I've always felt that he's good, but I think that he relies on his athleticism a bit too much. And I think that when you meet somebody who can counterpunch, he is fucked. He's screwed. Was Amir? Yeah, literally, I think you're right there, actually. I mean, I forgot about him. Amir Khan, probably the only fighter. And even then, he really wanted that Amir Khan fight, and he wanted that Floyd Mayweather fight. He never got that. I think that was the main reason why he went with PBC. But he did have success with Al Heyman. But he got the Canelo fight. The Canelo fight was, I think, was all golden boy, though. There's something about Kelly I don't like. It's a style, substance of quality and thing. Yeah, like he just has that kind of cockiness about him, like in the ring, and he just gets into this like, I want to be flashed the whole time, and it's like, mate, you shouldn't be flashed the whole time because you're going to get lit up, and he does, and he still has the, like, when I was watching him at the start, I was seeing him get hit with like easy telegraph shots by journeymen. And I'm like, if you're moving through the ranks, I mean, you do not want to get that. There's talk Wilder versus Martin. If that goes ahead, Martin will get the head taken clean off his shoulders. He has improved. I'll admit that he has improved, Charles Martin. He definitely has, but still, he's a bit too slow and a bit too easy to hit. Definitely. Billy Joe will upset the steelhead. I won't pick Billy Joe. But I definitely think he'll be a lot more game. I think he's going to make Canelo look human in there. if White beats Povetkin, what realistic pay-per-view fight can Sky do if they can't do Wilder versus White this year? It all depends really on what Dana White wants to do. Like, I'd love to see the Parker rematch personally, but if Dana White knows he's a guaranteed title shot next year, knowing that he was knocked out by Povetkin when he had a shot in February of this year, he probably will take a stance and be like, I'm not taking unnecessary risks against, someone of note. He'd probably just take, whoever. I'd love to see the Parker rematch. I think it'd be a very good fight. The first fight was good. What do you think is the best way for Willie Hutchinson? 168, definitely. 168, definitely. I think he needs to grow into light heavyweight. Definitely 169 heavyweight. Those countries that are fully back up and running may have already recovered. China, Middle East, Russia, Sweden, China, Dubai, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. Loads of countries are up and running. Loads and loads of them are up and running. Florida in the States, they're back fully opened. Loads of them are up and running. So they should. So we should here. But, so we should. Can you do? Ben versus Vargas is a 10-rounder. Yeah, no, I seen your comment, Joe. Thank you. I could be wrong. No, I think if it's a secondary title, it's 10-rounders. I think they're trying to not get rid, but they're doing less 12-rounders nowadays. They used to do like a 12-rounder over a little trick of titles. They're not doing that now. The Roaring Twenties led to they did lead to the Great Depression. I say that because I've been playing. I'm not a big gamer. I used to be, but I'm not really a big gamer these days. But I've been playing that Mafia, the remastered edition, not Mafia 2, the original one, which set in the 30s. And it was that's a really, really good fun game, by the way. If not played, I recommend you go and play it. It's actually really good fun. And I was just thinking, about it because I like history. Then I was looking at like Al Capone documentaries. What a time it must have been to be alive back then, like in the 20s and 30s. No, the 30s must have been absolute crap if you weren't rich. But like, what a time it would have been to be alive back then. Like, I mean, you just see like the way it was. Like, it would have been amazing. Like, imagine living in 1920s America, and like it would have been like, imagine it just would have been amazing. Like, you had all the guys, you Jack Dempsey and all. Like, I was just watching it, I was thinking, like, Jesus, this looks like an amazing time to be alive. It looked absolutely incredible. Think we'll see Price in the ring again? If so, who would you like to see him in there with? Yeah, I do. I do think we'll see Price in the ring again, but I don't think we'll see him in there with anyone good at the start, unless he gets offered a serious amount from Eddie Hearn. I'd like to see him in there. I'd like to see the Lucas Brown fight, truth be told. That's a fight. I don't know why. It just interests me a bit. I don't know why. Great channel of sub, bro. Man, George Durham, big up. Thank you, my man. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you. Mafia remastered next game. Nice story about playing the original on the PS3. I remember I never played the original Mafia. Never got the original one. But I played Mafia 2 originally, and that was a great game. That's probably one of the best stories I've ever played in the game, Mafia 2. I'm just sad that they didn't remake Mafia 2, and they really could have, because there was so much they could have added to that game. There's so little you could do. I'm sure they could have added a lot more to it. But yeah, playing that Mafia 1, the remastered edition, well, that was brilliant. That's a great game. It's a great story. If you've not played it, it's only like, and I only paid like 30 quid for it. I got it for Christmas. It's a great game. It's a great game. Yeah, man. If you've not played it, I didn't play it either, and I got it, and there's not a lot to do in that game either, to be fair. But I'd recommend it. It's a great game. It's really good fun. It's really good fun. I really enjoy it. So I'd recommend it. And like, I like the kind, like me, so I like history. That's why I love Assassin's Creed games. So it kind of suits me. Yo, big up to Tony Dam. Just got notification. And notification should have went. Hopefully there's not an issue with them now. Please tell me there's no issue with notifications. But big up to Tony every single time, man. Big up to Tony Boswell. Big up to you, man. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you enjoy what little part of it we have left, man. But no, big up to you every time. Much respect, G-Man, and the chat won a shitload of money last night thanks to Unrivaled. And Johnny, you bet Dustin by KO and then Dustin by sub and 3. Man, loads of people made money off Dustin winning last night. I didn't bet on him to win. I didn't bet on anyone, but man, big up, man. Big up. Glad you won. I'm always, whenever I see people win, like money in boxing, even if I don't, even if I lost the bet, I'm always glad. Because, like, even if I had played a part and I was like, you pick this guy to win, we'll say, like, I'm going for these rounds, like, say 1 to 6, and someone else wins it, and like 1 to 10, I'd be like, that I'm still happy. I don't care if I didn't win. Fucking, I'm happy you won. You know? That's the way I am. I just don't care, man. As long as someone wins, as long as someone I know is good and wins, I'm happy. I'm all like, you take that and you spend it. It's a shame you can't go to a pub and enjoy it or something like that, but bring your missus to a restaurant, but it is what it is. Because that's what I do with money if I get it. Like, if I win it and I was going out with someone, I'd be just like, I'll get you a gift or I'll bring you here or I don't need shit. So I'll spend it on someone. Any up and coming 154 pounders, it's your least favorite division. I think it could be more competitive. Yeah, I mean, there's not Charlo. I like Harrison, but I think he's a bit off. I think his chin is a bit questionable. But yeah, it's not. It's not really. It's not great. There's no one really up and coming that I really can think of, unless Virgil Ortiz moves up. But other than that, not really, to be honest. Dave Allen said he would come back. He would only come back for his price. Wow. Really? I mean, he made David Price look like Larry Holmes. And he'd come back for a rematch. I mean, damn. Not good. Definitely not, man. Definitely not. I think he'd get absolutely destroyed. Like, even now, like, I mean, considering Allen gets stopped probably by Pricey now. I mean, considering, right, that he fought David Price and he was able to take them shots, and now he's getting badly rocked by Usyk. I mean, and Usyk can punch, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't think that's fair. I think that yeah, I don't think Allen. I think he will come back, Dave Allen, but I don't think he should. I don't really think he should. What is the general Irish sentiment towards Conor McGregor right now? I heard he's unpopular. Yeah, he is. He used to be very, very, very popular in Ireland. Like, I mean, you couldn't find anyone who wouldn't speak good about him. Whereas now, it's like he's got more negative sayers than good sayers. I think look. People will tell you this who know me. I've never been a fan of McGregor. Never, never, never. I just don't particularly. His whole attitude just doesn't sit with me. It's not my type of guy. His whole demeanor, I just no. But I know back in like 14, 15, people like were just like worshipping him. But right now, he's really probably at a low, you know. He's made a few boo-boos in his career with the media and stuff like that and things he said. So yeah, I think that's kind of where McGregor is at now in terms of his career. Lads, we've been at this an hour and a bit. Lads, I'm going to call it quits here, but link there in the chat. Link is there for all you guys. I'm going to pop over to Ade stream now. So if anyone wants to come over, tell him G-Man sent you, because I'm going to pop over to there now. I try and do about an hour and 20 of these. Lads, Wednesday or Thursday, one or the other, because I only do 4 days a week now, so I'm off on Thursday. So I'll either do a stream Thursday at some stage or Wednesday evening, one or the other, but that's the schedule. Wednesdays and Thursdays and every Sunday. So, lads, I'm going to leave it here. By the way, before I go, I'm going for Heron, just in case. I'm going for Heron. A big up to Helen every time. Big up to Tony. Where's Tony? I want to grab his comment. A big up to Dean. Big up to George Durham. Been enjoying your questions. Box and Tink fan. Big you guys up before I go. Box and Tink fan. Big up to you. Big up to Tony every single time, man. Much love, bro. Much love. But lads, hashtag G-Man's Rocks, Bronze Plumber, cheers to it. Lads, I hope you all enjoy your evening. We'll go over to Ade stream, lads. Talk to you. Peace.